What is happening with this messaging and what message does it send?
This is the worst possible thing you can do from a political perspective. You have skyrocketing prices. You have people's retirement accounts in free fall. You have the price of nearly everything in America going up. And Donald Trump is playing golf for the third or fourth day in a row. This is absolute insanity. And the reality is that Republicans will pay the price in the midterm elections if they can't figure out a way to actually stand up to this president. You know, tariffs are actually a congressional authority. It's an Article 1 authority put forth by the Constitution. It should actually be Congress that does this sort of thing more than the executive. And it is my hope that congressional Republicans step forward and really take that authority back and work with Democrats to rein this in.
What effect do you think these could have on the midterms, as we were just talking about?
Well, kind of as what Brennan just alluded to, you've got a state Senate seat in Pennsylvania that Democrats won. You've got this Supreme Court seat that we won in Wisconsin. And I think this is a drip, drip, drip for a larger wave that is coming if this doesn't turn around. Tariffs are obviously a tax. It's the biggest tax we've had since 1968 on the American people. And voters will punish Donald Trump and Republicans if they can't turn this around, because everything we pay for, everything on Amazon, everything from Target is going to cost more. People don't have money to spend. And so Republicans have to do something to turn this around.
Michael, what is your reaction to the scale of demonstrations that we're seeing here?
You know, it's interesting because you're seeing a groundswell of bipartisan anger. Obviously, we have this massive protest happening today, but to the point that you made, you know, Republican town halls across the country, we're seeing similar activity. And it was so bad that the speaker told his members to shut those down. And so Republican voters, I think, are just as angry as Democratic voters as to what's happening with their Medicaid and their Medicare and their Social Security and their jobs and all these very important American ideals that are under assault by President Trump. And so I think there's a bipartisan rage and a bipartisan discontent about what's happening. And again, midterms are a year and a half away, and that will resonate when voters come out to the polls.
But, Michael, we saw that in Wisconsin. I mean, he was literally willing to hand out million-dollar checks, and you got a huge groundswell, and the Democratic candidate for the Supreme Court there won. Is that the backside of this, and could it actually be an asset for Democrats?
Yeah, I think voters are sending a message that you can't buy a democracy. It's not for sale. And I think that, you know, Elon Musk throws his money around. It is very clear that he thinks he bought a presidency. And I think that voters, as we look to the midterms and these other special elections, are saying no more. I mean, even the 2 seats in Florida that Republicans did win, they should have won by an overwhelming amount, and they did not. I think because in some way, many Republican voters are unhappy with what Elon Musk has done and what Donald Trump has allowed him to do, and they're unhappy with the results. And so I think voters are not willing to let their democracy be purchased by a South African billionaire. I think people have had enough.